Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we are going to be ranking the best centers in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM here on this tier list. But before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Help me push towards the 18,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day. Tons of daily MyTEAM content, trying to hit 18K by the end of January, which is going to require about 50 subs a day between now and then. So I'd really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe to help me push towards that goal. Without further ado, let's hop right into it, and we'll start off with this Diamond Dikembe Mutombo, who is borderline S, but I'm gonna go A simply because of how many very good centers we have in the game at the top tier that are also very close together. Honestly, I mean, you could have 7 or 8 guys in the S tier probably if you wanted to, because of how good these cards are. But Dikembe, his biggest flaw is, well, there's 2 things, I guess. His release isn't great, he's kind of slow, so those are probably his 2 biggest flaws. He's also not a playmaker at all, but he can hit his wide open threes, and he's an incredibly impactful defensive card, especially on the interior. Rebounds incredibly well, incredibly big player build, just an awesome card at the center position. I am really high on what Dikembe can do. I think Dirk is actually fine. I just wish he was a little better interior defender and a little faster, because he's a little bit on the slower end. His ability to stretch the floor at the center position is actually quite valuable. I just think the lack of him being an elite defender, and then obviously him being a little bit slow as well, hurts the card. The fact he can dunk the ball really well is nice, but it's hard to get to the spot to dunk the ball, even with an Evo Dirk Nowitzki, because his speed is kind of low. Dwight Howard stinks. This is we've gotten to the point in the year where if you can't shoot the three-pointer, you're pretty much automatically in D tier unless you are truly exceptional in other areas, and Dwight is not. He's 6'10", he's not that insane defensively, he can't shoot at all. He doesn't even sniff higher than D tier. I'm putting Mitchell Robinson in B tier. I think Dirk, obviously much more complete in terms of the shooting stats and badges and stuff like that, but Mitchell Robinson is similar speed-wise, better defensively probably on the interior at least, and has a really good release. I think Mitchell Robinson is pretty easily B tier. Another guy who's going to go, I'm going to put AD in A tier, honestly. I'm not quite giving him S, but he's got a smooth release. He's got good enough defense to guard even pretty much the biggest centers in the game. Rebounds pretty well, and just overall really solid, versatile option at the center position. Definitely A tier. I think Chet probably has to go S tier, even if it is the very back of S tier, simply because of how good he is. I understand the strength rating on the card is low, but he's 7'1", incredibly complete stat and badge wise, incredibly versatile. And while I personally think he should play more power forward than center on most teams, he can play the center position at an incredibly high level that very few centers can actually match right now. One of them that can match it, though, is David Robinson, who is absolutely phenomenal as well. Super smooth release, very solid player build, super strong as well. Rebounds the ball quite well, and just overall will actually compete against any center in the game at a very high level, and is one of the very best centers in my team. DeMarcus Cousins is fine, but not amazing. I think he honestly is kind of in that same B tier where it's like he's a good card, but he has some flaws. His main flaw is size and not being an incredible defender, honestly. At the center position would be what I would say. And while I think he's still a very solid card, I just think he can't go higher than B tier. Mecca Okafor stinks. D tier for sure. 43 ball on a card like a Mecca. I don't care that his release is actually pretty good. He's got a 43 ball. That's unusable. There's no chance that card ever sniffs. Giannis, S tier. I love Giannis at center. I really do. The speed aspect to him when it comes to the pick and roll is really nice. Defensively, he's a menace, and he doesn't feel small at all at the center position this year. I think he holds his own just as well as pretty much anybody defensively, and I love his ability to slip. I feel pretty confident shooting his 3 when he's open as well. I like the card, and I think he's very solid. Greg Oden, very solid. Basically, Mutombo, they're pretty much the same card. Both of them have slow releases, very big player builds, very good interior defenders. Odin's a little quicker, but as a whole, I'd say they're pretty much the same card. I think A tier is very fair for those guys. I guess Hakeem, looking at the guys left in this list, Hakeem probably goes S tier. Yeah, I'll give him S tier. The one thing that I'm realizing with Hakeem over the last 2 days is I don't like his release quite as much as I thought I did, which makes his rating to me a little bit lower. I apologize for any weather y'all hear, by the way. Nothing I can do about that. There's just thunder outside. But Hakeem is still very good. I mean, he defends his butt off. He's got great speed. He unfortunately does not put the ball on the floor very well, but he pretty much does everything else well, and his release is fine. Easy enough to green when he's open. Not incredible, but definitely solid enough. Jared Allen will go B tier. Solid enough card at the center position. Half anchor, half post lockdown. Can hit a wide open 3, although he does not have the best release in the world, and his rating is pretty low. It's in the 60s, but I still like the card, and I think he's very solid. Joel Embiid is going C tier at this point. Can't stand his release, and he's slow, and he doesn't defend that insanely. I just don't like the card that much at this point. Kareem probably goes... Yeah, I'll still put Kareem in A, but he's like on the borderline of dropping a tier now, because Kareem is, while very good still, not the most confident center shooting-wise in the world. Obviously, he's still dominant on the interior, and he will hit his wide-open threes. He is good enough to still deserve an A tier spot for sure, but not by a huge margin anymore. I'm actually putting Clax A tier too, because he is incredible defensively with a very smooth release, shoots the three at a very high level, and speed-wise, it does not feel like a liability at all. This card is maybe the best Ruby card in the game right now, would be my opinion on Nick Claxton. He's a dog, and he legitimately deserves to be A tier. The only reason Jokic is in D tier is because he can at least shoot the three and he's got half limitless range, but the card is still terrible. He's slow, he doesn't defend, and he certainly doesn't play anything like Jokic does in real life. Definitely not all that good of a card in C tier. I would say Ewing does not go S tier. Ewing has to go A tier, which means somebody has to move down, or they should, but I'm not going to because I'm leaving all these guys in A tier. I don't care. Ewing is really good as well. He has the same problem as Dikembe with the slower release, but he's actually pretty fast. He can put the ball on the floor a little bit as well. Defensively, he's great. He rebounds really well. He blocks a lot of shots. He feels big on the court. Ewing is one of the most slept on diamond cards in the game. People think that card sucks because his release isn't good. It's not any worse of a release than guys like Dikembe and Greg Oden. I almost want to put him S tier. I really do. I really like that Ewing card a lot, but I'm going to suck it up. I'm going to put him A tier. Rudy Gobert is not good. We're putting him in D tier. Can't shoot the three, and he's not that fast either. I understand he defends. I don't care. Shaq and Wilt will go C tier. Only because I think I would still use them over Jokic, to be honest. And it makes me almost want to put Jokic in D tier, but Jokic can at least shoot the three-pointer, kind of. But even though Shaq and Wilt can't shoot, they are so good on the interior in terms of their speed, dunking, rebounding, and all that type of stuff still that I think it gives them enough viability where I'm not going to put them in D tier. I still would not recommend using, though. I would stick to B tier and up at this point to center position, especially because multiple of the guys in the B tier and up are budget cards or free cards that you can get. But the final center is Wemby. He is also the best center in the game. Not a surprise that he caps us off in the S tier. And while this list is a teensy bit top heavy, I could move somebody down if I want. I really do believe all the guys in A tier and up are elite, and honestly even the B tier centers are very, very solid and usable as well. I would try to stay away from the C and D tier guys on this list, though. I just don't think they're all that great, and I do think you're going to have a bigger issue with those guys than most. But there are so many good options at the center position who are cheap or free. Chet, Hakeem, Ewing, Dikembe, Claxton, Mitch, Jared Allen, all these other guys. There's been chances and opportunities to potentially get lucky and pull one or two of them for free as well. So many solid options in the B tier and above for cheap or free that there's no need to run any of these guys in C tier or below. So this is just my opinion, though. At the end of the day, if there are any centers that I left off the list or anything like that that you'd like to hear my thoughts on, feel free to leave me a comment and let me know which centers y'all are running right now as well. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on who your favorite guys at the center position are. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.